definitely be a mistake, I think, for me to talk about turning points in my life without talking about how I came to be in the United States and meeting my wife, Linda. So when I left university, I started work for Arthur Andersen and Company in their management information consulting division in London. And they were, as many of you will know, headquartered in Chicago. So within a very few weeks of starting with the company, I made my first trip to the United States, actually out to St. Charles, and spent 3 weeks out there training. And over the course of the next 5 or 6 years, I was back in Chicago on a fairly regular basis. I really enjoyed the city. I liked being here. But perhaps most importantly, because it was the headquarters, some of the most interesting advanced technology work that the company was doing was being done in Chicago. And so I made a request to transfer to Chicago and to spend some time working with the lead technology group in world headquarters. And one of my first assignments when I came to Chicago was to travel to Philadelphia and to take on a project for a large insurance company. So there was a really, firm end date on this project and an enormous amount of work to do. And as a result, the team I was on were working unbelievable hours. I mean, we were working a minimum of 15-hour days, usually longer than that, 7 days a week for months on end. And that included a good number of all-nighters. And one night, I was sitting there. There were only 2 of us left in the building at this point. It was maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. And I was working in the server room on the system that was probably 95% complete at this time. And I have no idea today what it was I was trying to do, but I typed delete star dot star and the operating system, which means delete everything. And the operating system said, "Are you sure?" And I must have thought I was somewhere else on the computer than I was, but I hit yes and hit enter and deleted all the work that the entire team had done over the entire project. And it took me maybe 5 seconds to realize what had happened. You can perhaps imagine the feeling that you experience at that moment. I kind of feel it viscerally even as I'm describing it. So a couple of minutes pass and I start thinking if there's any way out. And fortunately, we had backups. But in those days, they weren't always as reliable as they should be, and we couldn't restore everything we needed. But we found a way to recover the files almost. And I don't want to get too technical, but let me just say they came back, but the first letter of every file name had been changed to a question mark. And so we had to find a way of recreating the first letter of thousands of files in a way that would actually make this system work again before people came into work the next morning. And the one person there with me that night who could have easily said, "Iain, you're in real trouble," and gone home, was a wonderful, beautiful, brilliant young woman named Linda. And she stuck with me the entire night. And we worked it through, we got it fixed, and the project continued as planned. Now, it's not as though she realized then that we were going to get married, nor did I. In fact, we didn't date for probably, I don't know, maybe another 6 months after that. But that was a connection when we realized that we were there for each other, we supported each other, we respected one another. Just so many things happened in that and many other experiences in the pressure cooker of that project. She says she realized we were getting married a lot earlier than I did. Well before we were dating. So apparently there was a plan that I wasn't filled in on. But eventually I got with the program, and as far as turning points go, the best they could ever have been.